What's good, party people? This is Voodoo in the Woods. I'm according to Woods, and he is former U of MMA champion Pius Lobo, better known as Voodoo Maximus. And UFC 270 is upon us. At the time of this very recording, it will be less than 24 hours away. Actually, 24 hours from right now, we should be essentially getting into, if not the main event, at the very least, the co-main event.
Yes. Good to see you, my friend. 8-a-day Woods.
It's
8-a-day, 8+ Woods.
that's
8+.
I mean, I'm going into like minor psychosis, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. But man, it's crazy because I didn't think about this until we actually, kind of got back into it. But we essentially have the highest men's weight class in the UFC, as well as the highest or the lowest weight class in the flyweight, right? Heavyweight and flyweight. So it's just it's a weird kind of cool snazzy thing or whatever. So we're gonna get into it. As just before we got on the air, Voodoo basically let me know that one of the fights essentially had fallen off, and what fight would that be?
Ilya Topuria versus Charles Jourdain fell off, and also Jacob Malkoun and AJ Dobson fell out as well.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Still a pretty fascinating card, So, but in the instance of Topuria, that was a weight cut issue, right?
Yep.
So
I think we also lost Warley Alves and Jack Della Maddalena.
Wow. Yeah, because that was actually at the weigh-ins. So since the weigh-ins, and not just like the weigh-ins, the official weigh-ins, but the show weigh-ins, right, in front of all the people or whatever. That was something that Joe Rogan was like, yeah, Della Madonna or whatever his face was, So but still a pretty good card. We didn't have the top two, so as long as we have our title fights, no disrespect to anybody else on the card, but I mean, I think that's essentially, if you're paying $100 for this damn pay-per-view, you want those two fights.
Most definitely, man. That's really what we want to see, the championship matches, the peak, the tip of the spear. Everything else is appetizer.
No,
you know what I mean. Everything else is an appetizer.
Like
we're
talking
about
like a blooming onion. Like
Yep.
Like a blooming onion at Outback Steakhouse, like a Parmesan cheese stick at the damn Buca de Beppo, right? It's the garlic bread. The shit is garlic bread. Sorry, guys and girls, your friends are garlic bread. No. So I guess we get started with a little bit of a Southern California flavor. I mean, this card is actually taking place at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California, and we have a Orange County native and staple and Invicta veteran Kay Hanson, 7-4. Right, she came in, unfortunately, lost her UFC debut, right, to Corey McKenna, but actually, that wasn't her UFC debut. What the hell am I? No. She actually beat former Invicta champion Jin Frey in her with the inverted triangle, right? That was in her debut, and then lost to Corey McKenna just in November of last year, right? So and then on the other side of the docket, we have Jasmine Judas of Vicious. That's what I got. So Judas, like the Fozzy song that Chris Jericho comes out to AEW, right? Judas, right? I'm sure there's a biblical deal in there, but I know it as Judas, the Chris Jericho theme song, sung by Fozzy, which Jericho happens to be the lead singer of, right? And Sid Vicious, right? Whether it be Sex Pistols or the ruler of the world, right? I got half the brain that you do, right?
I am the man.
Yes. Yeah,
rules
the
world.
world.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So
hey, but with this particular matchup, I'll flip your coin, man. I'll take Jasmine.
you you got Jasmine? Okay.
Why not?
All right,
Why not?
Aladdin. Okay. All right, Aladdin. I got you. And hey, you're back and better than ever, says Mick Mac with
What's
the
up,
Eric
McMac?
Bischoff logo. I dig it. And if you didn't know, we didn't go last week with after 83 weeks, the gag, George Ramota, Steve Kaufman, Chrissy Olsen, and WWE Hall of Famer Eric Bischoff, because another WWE Hall of Famer decided to go live. And that guy is former 16-time
Nature
world
boy.
champion Ric Flair. Right?
Nature boy.
So he went live. We didn't want to take the heat, that newbie on the scene and the live scene. So we will be back next week. We let Flair have his flair, is what I'm saying. Yeah. So so okay, I guess I got Kay Hansen, right?
Okay,
And
no
I'm
problem.
calling Mick Mac says I'm calling a double KO in that match.
Wouldn't be
Okay.
surprised.
Well, so Jasmine is a striker. For those who don't know, she's got pretty good hands, but also her hands kind of deject the fact that she's a purple belt. I mean, if we're talking about just jiu-jitsu terminology, because a lot of things you heard Daniel Cormier, and the weigh-in show was absolutely funny this morning, because they had the panel and whatever, and anytime there was a grappler, whether it be jiu-jitsu or wrestler, they had Daniel Cormier read the stats, and I think about fifth line he was like, "Why the fuck you just give me wrestlers? Like I see what y'all doing." But the deal with Jasmine, right? Because everybody betting odds and whatever through shit I don't understand at all. Vegas odds makers. I hear people say it. I don't know what the fuck that means. But with that all being said, they have Jasmine as a striker, right, and Kay as the grappler. But in jiu-jitsu speak, it's actually Jasmine who's actually a higher belt level than Kay in it. So it's wild.
It's gonna be an interesting matchup.
It is. It
Mhm.
is.
It's
And
gonna be an interesting matchup.
and both of them coming. I mean, Jasmine. She This is her UFC debut. I mean, she
hmm
beat Julia Polastri on the
Yeah.
Contender Series right back in September. That was a
hmm
unanimous decision,
hmm
right? And then Kay Hansen, basically coming off of a loss, right? So they're kind of at equal footing. So yeah, I'll go with Kay Hansen
It's gonna be I don't see
decision.
a knockout or a
I don't
submission
or
here.
submission. Yeah,
Uh, yeah,
yeah.
I don't see a knockout or submission. Either
I'd be
way,
surprised.
it's gonna be some type of unanimous decision.
I agree.
Whoever, one of them will be dominant in this matchup. That's what I feel.
One of them. There can only be one.
We'll
100%.
see.
We will see. So for the record, he's got Jasmine. I've got Kay, and let's call the whole thing not off because we got the next one. We have none other than the former inaugural LFA strawweight champion Vanessa Little Monster Demopoulos going against the newcomer on the UFC scene, Silvana Gomez Juarez, right? And there's a bit of a age difference between the two of them. Silvana is actually approaching. I mean, it says
Close
on
to 40.
Tapology she's 37. Yeah,
hmm
but somebody, I want to say it was MMA on point. They were like, no, she's like 39. So I don't know which one is true, right? But she is a veteran of the not only Mexican but also South American MMA scene.
Argentina.
Argentina fought for Combate Global, right? Invictus Fighters, UWC and Lux Fighting. I don't know if you guys have seen Lux Fighting. Shout out to Lux Fighting, but they have not just the most like in terms of like presentation, like their cage looks immaculate. Their belts is one of the better belts. I mean, it's way better in design than one of the UFCs. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to put that right out there. So shout out to uh, that promotion, Lux Fight League. You
Mm.
can catch that on UFC Fight Pass with a lot of great content. So shout out to that. As you can see, UWC out of Mexico. That is also on Fight Pass, so it's a little bit of an added value. But you would have seen one Silvana Juarez Gomez Juarez on either of the two shows, right? So Little Monster, she is one of Jiu-Jitsu pros. She's a Pan Am silver medalist in Jiu-Jitsu. I believe she's a brown belt, but closer to a black belt, ever so closely getting her black belt. So I don't know. I don't know with this one. Um,
Yeah.
Mick Mac saying he's calling for a disqualification. And how's the weather there? 39 Celsius there, which I don't know. Again, American system. Sorry for my negligence, McMac. And Alex Ramirez, who is actually at both the press conference and the weigh-ins.
Nice.
Alex Ramirez, and what's going on?
What's
Hey,
up, Alex?
Alex, how are you? Um, so yeah, we are. I don't know.
Hey,
So
this particular one, we're bound by hometown connection. So
yeah,
Vanessa Thermopolis is a pick. You know what I mean?
I think so. And it's
And she's younger.
ooh, damn. I'm not. I'm not even. Ooh, yeah. You have to go age
It
discriminate.
matters. Hey, you gotta take these things into consideration.
I mean,
You know,
I'm not going to.
youth is an
No.
asset. Youth is an asset, a legitimate asset. Most definitely.
Yeah. I'm not even going to touch that one. Um.
And Demopolis is very good.
Yeah. So there you go.
Former
Um.
LFA champion.
Yeah. And Alex Ramirez giving us a little bit of insight. So hey, so I met up with Silvana, and man, she looked good. I have Silvana. So he has it. He's actually going against the kind of hometown theory. Alex Ramirez is an LA guy. Him and his brother, proud Los Angelinos. So it's crazy, but all due respect, right? So what say you, Voodoo?
Thermopolis.
Okay, and how does she get it
Thermopolis.
done in theory?
This is gonna go all 15 minutes, and it's gonna
Yeah,
be a split
I,
decision.
I
I don't
agree.
see a finish.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. And I almost okay. Vanessa's been on the podcast and what have you. I, I'm, I was there or her fight right before the LFA title fight. Right, that was right before the pandemic and everything like that. And she had a war with, I believe it was
Lupita. Lupita.
no. That was the title fight.
Before that? Oh,
Oh no,
right, right,
no.
right,
It
right.
was Sam Page. Sam Hughes was the title fight, right? Lupita was after, right? But I believe it was Loveth Young at that LFA where,
Yes.
yeah,
But she won. She won.
she won, but it was interviewing her after. I kind of had to kind of lead her away from the crowd and whatever. She was so gracious to do the interview and what have you. I just putting it out there. Vanessa's always been, very cool, amazing, but also, I like the fact, like, hey, maybe that, old. I mean, she's new to MMA, right?
Hmm.
Relatively young to MMA, right? But the older in terms of age wise, I kind of would like to see like an old age outlaw fucking kick all ass. And I hate I love the matchmaking as a fan. I hate it
Hmm.
because I'm all like, it's make me question a friend. What the fuck,
But the
So
thing is, but
I'm
the
twisted.
thing here is, this is worthy of a 50-50 split
Yeah,
because Silvana is 10-3. This
yeah,
is an accomplished fighter. This is no
100.
pushover. Yes, she's older or whatever. She does have the experience. You know what I mean? So it's gonna make for a competitive match. Both individuals have between 10 and 13 fights between them. So it's gonna be competitive in the grappling aspect of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see excellent striking in this match. It's gonna be who's a better grappler, who's a better put you on a fencer, who's a better smash you with elbows. It's gonna be something similar to this, and split decision will be the result.
There we go. And Alex saying, left my fucking ass off. Haha, sorry, I was thinking with the wrong head. We like all your heads. We like all your heads. And McMack says 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Holy shit, that's hot, good sir. Jesus Christ. It's like on Vegas Vacation where fucking cousin Eddie starts putting the grill out, and the grill is really the rocks. He puts raw ass chicken on the rocks. That's 104 degrees. Fuck. That's pretty fucking vicious, right? Not Jasmine Judas Javicious, yeah, from the earlier fight. And she should rake her eyes from the start. I mean, it works in wrestling, right? I mean, theoretically,
Ric Flair, baby.
Fuck John Jones, baby.
Yeah.
Fucking damn. Yeah, there you go. So there you go. So I think we're going low monster, but I don't think I'd be bad up if Silvana run.
No, I mean, I don't see a stoppage. I just don't see it. They are not that deep yet in regards to experience. Not that it can't happen. I just don't see it happening. It's going to be competitive. They're going to work hard, both ladies. But I don't see a finish. I see a split decision.
Wow. You said you didn't see, and Mick says she should rake her eyes from the start. So is somebody over there at Voodoo Mansion raking the eyes that you can't see a finish? I don't know. It's like, I don't know. But yes, on to the third fight. We have the Steamroller, not to be confused with the less steamroller. I don't know. But Matt Frivola against Gennaro Valdez, and Gennaro is a perfect 10-0, hailing from the Entram Gym in Tijuana with the reigning and defending UFC flyweight champion, one assassin baby, Brandon Moreno. So yeah, man, Frivola, he's here. And the last time we saw him, I mean, he was a steamroller. I wanted to call him the freeloader because I mean, he got KO'd by Terrence McKinney. Fuck, it was like the first punch in the fucking fight, you know, and then lost to Armin Sarukian. The last time that we saw Matt Frivola win was back in 2019 against Violent Bob Ross and Luis Pena.
Yeah.
So
split decision.
Yeah, it's been a while for him. So then we've got the perfect Gennaro. Now, one might argue that Gennaro might not have the amount of caliber opponents as one Matt Frivola, but he's here. I mean, a fight's a fight, right?
Yep.
So, to get 10-0 in anything, that's a pretty good. I don't care if it's baseball, volleyball, badminton, whatever, let alone people getting punched in the face or separating themselves from consciousness or limbs in any grappling discipline. So I'm not going to take anything away from Gennaro Valdez at all. But who you got?
It's hard to go against perfection. It's hard to go against perfection. Matt Frivola is good. He's a UFC veteran. So it's a tough one, but I can't see a guy that's 10-0 and pick against him. It's very tough for me to do so. So I'm gonna go ahead and go on a limb and say Valdez will win by submission, third round.
I like it. Yeah, no, I like that too. And Mick says, has anyone ever done a figure four leg lock in the UFC? Not a leg lock, but that inverted triangle that Kay Hanson did. That was it was a figure four headlock, but
Right.
instead of your arms, it was actually your legs. So that
Mm-hmm.
was a grapevine sleeper hold essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
and then in terms of the UFC, there have been Boston crabs. That is the Boston
Yes.
crab is a legitimate catch wrestling move, and
Mm-hmm.
it has been executed, and not just in the UFC but other promotions.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
near and far. So
Mm-hmm.
there has been quite a bit of pro wrestling involved in it. But I mean, it's weird, right? Because before MMA and what have you, there was pro wrestling, right? If you're a
Mm-hmm.
collegiate wrestler and you wanted to make money because the NCAA wasn't paying you, being an Olympian wasn't paying you, still doesn't pay you, or whatever, well, you went into professional wrestling to kind of
Right.
get back in it. But imagine if
Right.
a Corsola Rosari, better known as the Iron Sheik, a Billy Robinson, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Dory and Terry Funk, the Briscoe brothers, right? Jerry and Jack Briscoe had gotten
Mm-hmm.
into fucking, you know, MMA, if MMA was a thing 20 years before and lucrative, Jesus Christ, man, the history would be on its head because
Yeah.
50 years, I mean, in the 50s, I should say, you had guys like Lou Thez and Vern Gagne who would
Mm-hmm.
essentially, I mean, it would shoot fights, right? Some were
Mm-hmm.
predetermined, but what happened, how you got there was completely up to you and your opponent and what have
Mm-hmm.
you. So that in itself was kind of a precursor to MMA. And look no further than Minoru Suzuki, who basically him and Funaki, not the WWF Funaki, but
Mm-hmm.
Matsukatsu Funaki, created Pancrase that I literally started the careers of like guys like Gary Albright, Boz Rutan, Josh Barnett, and what have you. And in the case of the latter two, Rutan and Barnett, who should one is a UFC Hall of Famer, one should in War Master, and I'm not saying that because you might know the guy, but that is
Mm-hmm.
a legendary fucking career. I don't care how you spin it, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. But to me, pro wrestling and MMA kind of cousins. You know,
Definitely.
yeah,
Definitely.
and
Lot of similarities there.
absolutely. But one thing you can't do, you can't escape the cage. No. The closest I think we got was what was it, Habib after Connor and then Jose Aldo in Brazil. The first time he fought in Brazil in two promotions, right? WEC and UFC, and he
Yeah.
fucking beats the shit out of his opponent and he fucking runs into the crowd and whatever. One of the most fantastic fantastic moments in UFC history, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going Gennaro as well. I say, you know what? Fuck, I say third round KO because for
Okay.
Vola, we don't know how his chin was. I mean, if he was able to sustain a first round KO, one of the fastest KOs in UFC history, if not the fastest, you don't. I mean, not to say that Terrence McKinney was not powerful because he absolutely was, but that wasn't too long ago. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. You can't fucking
Mm-hmm.
train your chin. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going with Gennaro.
Yeah. Yeah. No arguments there, man. No arguments.
Yeah,
Man. Which brings us to the 135-pound bantamweight division. We got Tony
absolutely.
Gravely versus Salman Oliveira. Now, this is a striker versus jiu-jitsu artist type match. We have the Brazilian, who is very well versed in jiu-jitsu. He's a former champion. Tony Gravely, uh, 85% of his losses has been to submission, rear naked chokes or whatnot, guillotine chokes. So how's he going to fare against this fella? He does have more experience. Will his takedown defense be sufficient? This is a question Tony Gravely has to answer. Will it be sufficient? We don't know. However, Tony Gravely has more experience, more UFC experience to add to that fact. I will be going with Tony Gravely to win this one by decision, split decision. He's going to lose at least one round to Jiu Jitsu. He might not get submitted, but he will lose. He will be dominated, but he will pull it off in the end. I see him pulling up a split decision because sooner or later his opponent's going to get tired for going for the takedown, and then Tony Gravely will be able to use those hands and piece him up real good. Granted, he doesn't get submitted before that.
Yeah. Ed Micmac says, nah, second round TKO. Now, here's the funny thing about Gravely, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gravely is a fucking legit wrestler, right?
There
He
you
has
go.
takedown, he was a stud at his high school and into college, right? And then, took up jiu-jitsu, and I believe he's at least a purple belt. I could be wrong, but I could have swore that's what Daniel Cormier was saying at the weigh-in show. So,
Mm.
and just on a side note, that is the most I mean, just laissez-faire pronunciation of Simon that you get, Saimon for Oliveira. I think that's funny, but I got Gravely second round KO.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. Not mad at it at all. But
He's,
the Simon fella looks formidable.
he
He
does
looks
look
formidable.
formidable. I
Mm.
just okay. So, but I guess I'll put my prediction with an asterisk in
Mm-hmm.
the sense that Gravely has to get it done in the second round, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not questioning his cardio or whatever, but in terms of, and this is what fascinates me, right? This fight is essentially in the bantamweight division, right? But how you get to
Mm-hmm.
fucking bantamweight is weird, like how, whether you're like a Kendall Grove type that can just
Mm-hmm.
make that weight cut, or you're
Mm-hmm.
just a short, stocky fellow and whatever, and built like a fucking brick shit house, which
Mm-hmm.
is the case of Tony Gravely, right?
Mm-hmm.
you know their muscularity is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So I say Gravely, if he doesn't get it done in the second round, I think it's in the favor of Simon. So
Mm-hmm.
uh I say yes, second round KO by Gravely, but
Mm-hmm.
if it goes into the third round, I think Simon wins it, split decision.
Yeah. Granted, Simon doesn't burn himself off first. If he burns his forearms before the end, it's gonna be a tough, long third round for him.
No, 100%. Micmac says he's a phantom weight. I wish I was a phantom weight. That means everything that I eat doesn't go straight to my fucking thighs, and it becomes a phantom weight. That's my interpretation of it. You might call me off, but yeah, that's my interpretation of phantom weight. You being able to eat almost like the fucking ghost uncles in Casper. You remember Fatso fucking ate everything and it just came right
Yeah.
out of him? That's a phantom weight. That's a phantom weight. So I like it. I like it. So yeah, I say Gravely in the second, right?
No
KO. And if
problem.
it doesn't
No
happen,
problem.
then it's going fucking Simon. But you have
Hmm.
Simon regardless of what happens.
Oh no, I got Gravely.
Oh, you got
I
Gravely
also
too?
have Gravely. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, Simon has a ton of experience, but so does Gravely. So
Mhm. That
that's
wrestling is gonna be a key tool for him to stay alive. That wrestling, you know.
yeah, no, 100%, 100%. So in the 170 pound, 70-pound division, we
Mm,
have the 4-0 Pete Rodriguez, right? A Pete dead game Rodriguez. Man, he's talking a big game at 4-0.
mm,
That guy.
mm,
All of his fights pre UFC coming by way of the Icon Fighting Federation, which can also, I believe, be found on UFC Fight Pass, right?
mhm,
So this is his UFC debut. Kind of
mhm,
pole vaulted and didn't even have to go through the Dana White Contender Series or the Ultimate Fighter. He's just in the UFC. That's not a
mhm,
bad deal for 4-0 fighters. We know
mm.
people here on the regional scene here in Southern California, as well as Midwest, Florida. I mean, marquee talent is coming from every corner of the world. I'm so excited for the future of MMA, but still, there's still people that are 4-0 still fighting on the regional scene where
Mhm.
Pete Rodriguez is in the, pardon the pun, but he's in the big show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is what it is, man.
It is.
He Hey, it's who you know, man. It's not what you can do. It's who you know
It's
in this world.
or who you sign with in terms of your
Exactly.
management team. So if you know, you know, and nothing against it. You know, it is what it is. But then we have the Aussie Jack Della Maddalena,
Mhm.
right? And he's been stuck in Vegas for 3 weeks because he was supposed to fight. Jesus Christ, I think it was Warley Alvarez. He was
Yeah.
supposed, yeah, and then they got canceled and
Mhm.
whatever. So he was just praying that he got a fight. His prayers were answered, and he gets the undefeated Pete Rodriguez.
Mhm.
Um, but Magdalena coming to us from the Australian regional scene, as well as the Dana White's Contender Series, which he
Mhm.
actually got a contract with a unanimous decision, which
Mhm.
doesn't doesn't really happen, you know.
Mhm.
But prior to the Contender Series, he had maybe one fight with with Cage Warriors, and then the rest of his career was essentially at Eternal MMA.
Emma. Mhm.
Right, you know, it's wild because he loses his first two fights in his professional career, both in 2016, but then fucking goes on a tear and
Mhm.
isn't defeated since, essentially.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
yes,
well,
he is.
look,
He is an Aussie.
he is Aussie. He
Oi,
is
oi,
Aussie.
oi.
Yeah. Yeah. When you look at this, you have one fella who has more professional experience, and the other fella who has less experience, but he's undefeated, but a
Mm-hmm.
plethora of amateur experience. Now, one thing you know about the amateur is there is no knees to the head. Significant weapon, significant weapon. No elbows. Is there no elbows to the head as well, right?
I believe
Something
so.
like that. Well, bottom line, professional ranks has way more weapons
Mm-hmm.
than amateur.
Yeah,
So, so I'm leaning towards a guy who's had more professional experience, even though they're both new to the UFC. The one that's got more experience is the guy that I'm going to lean towards, and I like the way he fights anyway. So Jack Della
Mm,
Maddalena, that's my guy. That's my guy.
I agree. Yeah,
Mhm.
which I was gonna say, Jack Della Reese, touched by an angel. It has the same kind of fanatics to it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I think that's a consensus pick. Jack Della Magdalena for the win.
Mhm.
You know. And Big
Yep.
Mac says he's got to stay away from these Whoppers. I don't know if you're talking about the candy coated malt balls. Chocolate covered malt balls. I love those. Yes, I'm like Mr. Bucket. I like. Never mind. There's a whole fucking joke. Nope, not even fucking gonna go there. But um, yeah, I think that's a consensus pick. So I guess we're moving on. We're moving
Mhm.
on and getting not older. But if you wanted to see one former deep bantamweight champion uh, compete in the UFC, well, by George, you have your chance because we have
Mhm.
the former lights out extreme fighting bantamweight champion Victor Lamongosa Henry
Mhm.
going against
Mhm.
former I believe it was a Japanese promotion as well where he's a bantamweight
Mhm.
champion.
Yeah.
What
Rising.
Shuto? It was
He was
Shuto.
in Rising. Okay.
It was Shuto. So we have the Shuto bantamweight champion against the deep bantamweight champion. Two of the best Japanese promotions, especially for the lower weight classes. And this is almost a dream match if you're a
Mhm.
fan of Japanese MMA. We have two
Mhm.
former
Mhm.
champions of two of the most prominent post Pride uh, MMA promotions, and they're doing battle pretty pretty high up on the card, especially for
Mhm.
Victor Henry. Obviously, he's known to us right here in the Southern California region. He is a disciple, protege of the War Master Josh Barnett out of the
Mhm.
UWF USA team, right? Um, but I mean, he's fought everywhere. He's
Mhm.
fought everywhere, kind of done it all, you know. But this is a tough customer in the Brazilian of
Mhm.
Raoni
Mhm.
Barcelos.
Mhm.
Barcelos is 16-2. The last time that we saw Raoni is a majority decision to Tamir Baliev, but then he fucking uh, you beat it, and it's weird. It says unanimous decision uh, in the fight with Khalid Taha,
Mhm.
but there is, I mean, the damage that he put on Khalid, you know, he's very capable, very capable.
Mhm.
This one, I'm definitely going with Victor Henry. Victor Henry, uh, been able to interview him several times. He's been on the podcast and what have you. So there's no way that I'm going to pick, pick against him. But
Mhm.
I think this would be one of my candidates for fight of the night.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree. I agree with you. The weight class, they're very light, which means there's going to be a lot of speed, lot of speed. One thing that we know about Victor Henry is he's got great cardio. He keeps bringing the pressure. That's his key to success. Pressure, pressure, pressure. He's one of those guys. Honey Barcelos, he's good. He's good too. He's good too. This is why I am in agreement with you. This is potentially the first possible fight of the night candidate. Either way, Victor Henry by any means necessary.
Yeah, no, I'm right there. So you're not gonna get me to pick against Victor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's been great, much like Vanessa Demopoulos, earlier on the card. Been nothing but stellar, and you could call it nepotism if you want to or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
hell, hey, you want me to pick you on the fight? Fucking come on the podcast is what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
every fighter out there, every pro wrestler, whatever. There's a big GCW show at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York on Sunday.
Mm.
So hey, again, GCW.
ECW, ECW,
Well,
ECW,
GCW, it's a game changer,
ECW.
but yeah, yeah.
But ECW was using that Hammerstein ballroom since
As
before
was
them. So
as was the WWF back in the day, or
that's right.
oh
That's
no, I'm
right.
sorry, they used the Manhattan Center, and from I've never been to New York, but from what people tell me, the Manhattan Center and the Hammerstein Ballroom are actually in the same complex. They're just on different
Mm-hmm.
levels. That's weird that a whole fucking ballroom can
Yeah.
be right on top of each other. It's wild, but I don't understand New York. You wild motherfuckers, you. Good
Yeah.
job. Good job. Um, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like that bantamweight title fight. I mean, to me, it's a bantamweight title fight, right? Victor
Mhm.
Henry winning the lights out, bantamweight championship, in his ascension to the UFC, as well as the deep bantamweight championship, right? And Raoni essentially becoming the Shuto bantamweight champion in his career. I'd say this is a battle of all the belts, even though they're not going to really display him in the UFC. But this is a battle of the
Mhm.
belts. But Victor Lamagosa Henry is
Mhm.
my pick.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, man. So you said go, right? So we are at the main card. All of those are
Mhm.
prelims, so you can
Mhm.
find that live and free, assuming that you have an ESPN Plus membership. So
Mhm.
go ahead and re-up and whatever. That's an incredible 6 fights right off the bat. But this is the paid version of the card, and it gets kicked off by a perfect 12-0 Michael Morales, right?
Mhm.
Michael Morales comes to us from Ecuador, right? He
Mhm.
is, pretty known, and he has made his career, all of those 12 fights, they've come by way of promotions such as Emma, UWC, Dana White's Contender Series, Troncon, FFC, Manaba Top Team 2, and
Mhm.
Pasaje Combat
Mhm.
1. So all throughout
Mhm.
uh, the uh, the Latin American regional scene, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
goes to the Contender Series, states his dominance, and anybody that says, "Oh, he doesn't face big competition," well, guess what? These are fights on Dana White's Contender Series, right? That are handpicked by the boss himself. So I'm just saying. And he did the same thing that he was doing to people in Latin America, left, right, and center. So, but he's in there with the tough Trevin Giles. Trevin, the problem Giles is essentially a problem for everyone who steps into the cage with him. Right now, he did, lose his UFC debut. Not the, I'm sorry, his last UFC fight against Druckus de Plusisis.
The South African.
Yeah, that guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Druckus,
Mm-hmm.
right? But prior to that, he beat James Krause on the undercard of the John Jones Dominic Reyes fight in Abu Dhabi, right? I mean, he's been in there since 2017, and the in there I'm speaking of is the UFC, right? Jesus Christ, this one is another fucking toss up, man. This could go either way, but I'm going with experience. I'm going with Trevin Giles. That's a nice little asterisk to take the streak away from Michael Morales, right? It's an uncrowned championship within itself, right? If you kind of rate your MMA that way, I do apparently. For those who don't know, so what say you, Voodoo?
This is my second candidate for fight of the night.
Agreed.
The young Morales is gonna bring it because he wants to impress. This is his first fight. One, he's showing up to the UFC on his first fight. Two, he's in a pay-per-view. Are you serious? On a Francis Ngannou pay-per-view. So he's gonna be showing out. He's gonna bring his A game and he's gonna bring the fight to his opponent, Trevin Giles. Giles is a UFC veteran. He's been in the UFC since maybe 2016 or something like that. However, the boy is undefeated for a reason. He's undefeated for a reason. I'll flip you a coin, and I'll take Michael Morales in this one.
Okay, I got Giles, and you said he's the boy has worked up to this point. I like it. So are you saying like let's hear it for the boy? Is that what you're doing?
Let's hear it for the boys.
There we go. So nice little 80s reference there. So yeah, we're split here. I got Giles, he's got Morales. We'll see what happens come Saturday. It's nice to have a little bit of stakes, literal stakes, right? I might be having literal stakes as I'm watching this, but have a skin in the game in terms of picking somebody and then watching them win. So I like it. I like it. So this is a split for us here. But we have no relation to Habib Nurmagomedov, but in the bantamweight division, we have Said Nurmagomedov against the Spartan. He was the Starman for quite a bit, and now he's the Spartan. But Cody Stamen, right? Cody Stamen, 19-4-1, right? It wins over Brian Caraway, Tom Duquesnoy, Tyrion Flash Ware, Alejandro Perez, lost to Aljamain Sterling, had a draw with Song Yadong, but beat Brian Kelleher, who we just saw last week. Losses to Jimmy Rivera and Marab the Machine Dava Lishvili, right? So here he is, just trying to do his thing, but it's a juggernaut that he's got right in front of him. Said Nurmagomedov is a 14-2, right? He's got KO power. He's got grappling, right? He's Dagestani, right? So he's got grappling prowess, right? He's got a armbar in Vale Tudo Russia 3. God, to do Vale Tudo, like the Brazilian Vale Tudo in Russia, right? As a fucking Dagestani, whatever, and beat one of your own in Zahey Lube, Zolinov, right? So he's a total package. Not like Lex Luger, but kind of like Lex Luger. So I'm going with Said. I'm sorry. I should talk about the. I'm sorry, the opponent. Oh, we did talk about Cody Stamen.
We did
Okay,
talk about it.
yeah, absolutely. So I'm going with Saeed Nurmagomedov.
I can flip your coin here. I'll go Cody.
Really?
It's not it's not gonna be an exciting matchup. It's gonna be a whole bunch of wrestling. You know what I mean? It's gonna be
Wrestling.
boring. It's gonna be a bunch of wrestling. Even though wrestling is a intricate, technical, and necessary part of the game, it's not going to be exciting. Um, it is what it is. I don't see a knockout. If anybody gets a submission, perhaps Saeed will get the submission, but I don't see a finish here. I see some kind of decision.
Wow. What a way to sell the fight, Voodoo. That's amazing. All right. And Mick Mac says the ballroom of the Hammerstein and the Manhattan Center is bigger than Fuji.
Fuji? Mount Fuji?
Like in Japan? Or the WoW women's wrestler?
Oh, okay. Which one is it?
Or wait,
Mick Mac?
yeah, or the Glow. It wasn't WoW, it was the Glow, right? That's Mount Fuji. Or was it Mount Fiji? I don't know. But I'm from Fiji.
Mount Fuji is massive. I've been there. It is massive. Massive.
Yeah. Which, speaking of massive, a guy that you've been a massive proponent of is one Michel Pereira, right? 26 and 11, the Brazilian here, training with the current reigning and defending UFC light heavyweight champion, one Jesus Christ, Glover Teixeira, right? That's who Michelle is essentially training with. All the way out there and somewhere in, I want to say like Delaware or somewhere cold, somewhere I don't think I'm gonna go ever. But he's out there. He's out there. Wins over Nico Price, Chaos Williams, Zalim Imadev, right? But lost to Diego Sanchez because he hit that fucking illegal knee on downed Diego Sanchez, right? And we had to hear more of fucking Josh Fabia. Good God. So on the other side of the docket, we have Andre Filo, all right, the Portuguese man of war. That's not his name. I just called him like fucking Aldo Montoya from fucking WWF back in the day. But he's a veteran of ex MMA, where he fought former UFC alumnus James Vick, wins over San Hun Yu at UAE Warriors, and Lincoln Plug at the same promotion, right? Yeah, Lincoln Plug. Yeah, there's a joke in there somewhere. He's got a leaky plug. Why don't you plug it? Jesus Christ. See, you brought it out of me, Voodoo. Jesus. I was trying to be all civil. Civil. Jesus. He's got a leaky plug.
Hey, man. I think Michael Pereira, as he's been listening to all the commentary, and he's making those adjustments. He understands that his ticket to the dance is his theatrics, the backflips and all that. So he does that. But he's learned to minimize it and not waste energy in fights that mean something. So I'm gonna go with Michael Pereira because he does have dynamic striking. As long as he stays content and controls his emotions and not get stupid with it, he should win this one quite easily.
Yeah, he's going to be taking it easy. I've got Michel Pereira. I like people who do weird shit. You know, I mean, Sansom, the fucking guy in LFA that fucking knocked that guy out, and then did a backflip off of his fucking prone body. That's not cool. That's not cool. But other fucking weird shit. That's what I liked about Lando Venata or fucking Yair Rodriguez or what have you. Just like weird, unorthodox striking and shit like that. So
the future.
Right, and that's what Piera brings. So I too am going with Pieta.
Mhm.
And I want him to one of those weird ass cartwheel kicks and shit, like to knock a motherfucker out. I like
Mhm.
that would make me so happy. Now it might
Mhm.
not make that family of Andre Filial
Mhm.
happy, but I'm just saying it's just like those feats, it's just like watching those fucking Nathan's hot dog fucking competitions or those people, the strongman competitions, having that
Mhm.
fucking big ass boulder and they're fucking putting it on
Mhm.
something. It's just shit
Mhm.
you don't think you're gonna fucking see. And when it happens, you're like,
Mhm.
oh shit. So that is essentially the gimmick of Michel Pieta. So I'm going with Pieta, as is Voodoo.
Mhm. Yep. Yep.
Yep. Yep. Yep. Yep. Mick Mac just says Fiji. I say Fiji too.
Oh, okay.
Yay,
Okay.
Fiji. Fuck yeah. Right on. And Nigeria as well. Right?
Yeah.
Hell yes. But Mick Mac says now don't be sad because there are 2 out of 3
Two out of
fights
three.
ain't bad. Now don't be sad because 2 out of 3 ain't bad. There's a song. Yes.
Yeah.
There you
Two out of
go.
three ain't bad. It
There
ain't
you
bad
go.
at all.
Yeah,
It's more
especially if
than
you
half.
read it twice. If you put it a third time, I would have still read 2 out of 3, but I get what he's doing. But we are at the co-main events of the evening. We have former UFC flyweight champion Deuce de Guerra, Davidson Figueiredo, right? Who sports a 20-2-1 record against the Assassin Baby, everybody's
Mhm.
favorite, Brandon
Mhm.
Moreno.
Mhm.
Well, everybody except for obviously Davidson
Mhm.
Figueiredo, the Amazonian fucking village that Figueiredo comes from, the fight ready camp that Eric Alsaban and Henry Cejudo fucking call home, right? They don't think
Mhm.
that they don't love Brandon Moreno the way that the rest of us do, but that's all right.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
I actually got a little bit of heat on Davidson Figueiredo because I believe it was Lego presented Brandon Moreno with a replica.
A Lego
Uh,
belt.
yes, essentially Lego belt, right? And I showed my kid, and my kid, who's a Lego head, a brick builder since he was like in diapers, was like, "Oh, that's cool." Like my kid that doesn't necessarily watch MMA, but he saw that and it
Mhm.
was like, "Cool," right? And
Mhm.
that weird ass Eric Alsaban with the weird fucking hair and the eyeglasses and the fucking he's just a weirdo to me, that guy. Um
Mhm.
he's just cringy, right?
The
As the
little
kids
short
say.
guy.
Yeah, yeah. And he
Yeah.
makes everybody else cringy around her. Henry Cejudo cringy. The fucking Figueiredo cringy. Pitbull fucking cringy, right? It was just weird. So Davidson, I mean, Alshabad, uh, I think it was episode 2 of UFC Embedded. Davidson Figueiredo wanted to go shoot guns. They went to Scottsdale, shot guns, but as the target practice, it was a shitty version of Brandon Moreno's UFC belt, and they shot it. And I was just like, you know what? I mean, you're making yourself out to be a heel. I get it, right? Or whether get it or not, but like this is a guy that was crying about why he wasn't getting what he felt he was paid for doing an immediate turnaround, right, and fighting
Mhm.
in one of the quickest turnarounds in UFC history without getting a
Mhm.
fucking fight of the night bonus, right? And
Mhm.
Dana
Mhm.
presenting him that 50 G's in cash
Yep.
in a fucking
Yep.
Tiffany's bag or whatever, right?
Yep.
But if you do
Mhm.
shit like this, right, think about kids who are watching, kids that are like, oh man, yeah, that might not watch UFC, but because Brad Moreno collects Funko Pops and he builds Legos and shit, like, oh, I'm gonna watch my fucking UFC, right? Or I'm gonna take up jujitsu, right?
Mhm.
Like that's an incredible, indelible mark that you're leaving on the world. You're leaving the world a little bit better, right? And bringing in an audience that normally wouldn't be there, right? And what does Davidson Federer do? Fucking plays into every stereotype that people have about fucking MMA fighters, right? They're violent, they're fucking, shit for brains and whatever the fuck, and do weird shit, you know? and fucking Brandon Moreno, fucking assassin baby, all the way, all the way. NCM Jiu Jitsu in fucking Tijuana. Shout out, man. I
Yeah.
hope Brandon Moreno gets a long fucking title reign. That's nothing against the aptitude of Davidson Figueiredo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever that crazy Amazonian fighting system that Davidson Figueiredo knows, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah, I love that. The tradition, right? Tradition of fight, especially in that region. How many
Mm-hmm.
wars were won with the style of fighting that Davidson Figueiredo learned, right? That was pretty much exiled from the rest of the populace, right? So I'm with it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
he's so fucking cringy, right? And he's teamed up with more cringy fucking people, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there's a thing, right? If you're trying to play the heel, the bad guy persona, right? And you're getting your heat. There's two types of heat, right? Well, actually, there's a couple types of heat. There's, fucking cheap heat where you're like, oh, this town sucks. Your fucking sports team suck. It's cheap heat, right? Anybody can fucking do
Mm-hmm.
that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shut up, fat boy. That's not what your mom's was saying last night, right? It's cheap heat, right? And then there is the heat where you want, right? For people to pay to see you, right? Whether whether it's to see you because they like you, right? Because they want to cheer the bad guy, right? Or they want to see you get your ass kicked, right? But then there's that third option of go away heat, where you can do all this shit, right? And try to push buttons and nobody's fucking reacting. Everybody's no selling it. And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Davidson Figueiredo is actually kind of fucking bordering that. In one of the
Mm-hmm.
embedded episodes, he was like, he was saying something to Moreno about like, hey, I'm coming to reclaim my belt, right? I hope you kept it nice, and obviously I'm paraphrasing it, but he was basically talking shit to Brandon Moreno and saying Moreno has his belt, right? But he got finished one, right? He got finished by
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Moreno, right?
Okay.
And then he's talking shit, right? He's in Portuguese, right?
Mm-hmm.
To a Mexican, like native language Spanish speaker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, if you really wanted to fucking talk shit, you fucking learn Spanish, bro, and just like, yo, what the fuck up, man? But it just lost a
Yeah.
little bit of its sting for me.
Mm-hmm.
I know
Mm-hmm.
you probably disagree.
Yeah. 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 hey, hey, Brandon Moreno, cry baby. Brandon Moreno, cry baby. More fuck. I loved every moment of it. I loved it. Loved it. When you look at that press conference, there were 4 athletes, 3 of them belt holders. The 2 biggest ones are sitting there bickering like children. Oh, you hurt me. You hurt me. You hurt me. This dude is 250 pounds. You hurt me. You hurt me. That's a lie. That's a lie. I knocked you out. That's a lie. It was pathetic. And then Brandon Moreno, what's he doing? What's he talking about? Some nonsense. Hey, woo, woo. What the hell is that? We brought all these people from around the world, and that's the best you can do? What was that? Davidson Figueiredo single-handedly saved that event. He saved the event by doing what he did. He initiated by speaking English. Oh my goodness. Jackpot. Somebody is trying. Somebody is trying. Everybody else, what did they do? A bunch of nonsense. Arguing about some dumb stuff. Are you serious? Oh, you did not knock me out. You hurt me, but you did not knock me out. Did I knock you down? Stupid. Stupid. Moreno, what were you doing? What were you thinking? What was that nonsense? You can't decide if you're going to speak English or speak Spanish? What the hell? Like, get your head together, man. We're here to make money, not just fight. We're here to make money. Get your act right. Figueiredo threw him an alley-oop, and he couldn't even lay it up. He should have dunked it, but he didn't even lay it up. Right? Like, clearly we know Figueiredo is playing a character. It doesn't take a genius to know that he's playing a character. Go with it, man. Go with it and sell this pay-per-view. Sell the pay-per-view. Both of you will gain from this. It's like I see Triple H, and I'm like, hey man, your name is Paul Levesque. Your name is Paul Levesque. Duh! We know his name is Paul Levesque. Go with the scenario. I mean, you don't go to Disneyland and be like, oh, that night show is fake. That night show is fake. Dude, use your imagination. Come on. That's why these dudes don't get paid. You have an opportunity. You're in front of the world. All the mics are in front of you. And you want to argue with Figueiredo about his character? If his character is real or not? I want Figueiredo to smash this dude just for being stupid.
I mean, I'm not mad at you.
I want a severe knockout.
Severe knockout. Jesus
severe.
Christ. Jesus.
There will be a fourth fight.
Hey, I mean, I know he's trying to be the God of War, but doesn't fucking Figueiredo remind you of Megamind, the cartoon, the big ass head? Like, I don't know how Moreno could miss that big ass head, you know?
Well, in all reality, this match, because they know each other so well, I saw Figueiredo go out there and do something different.
Yeah.
He's been in Arizona for 4 months now. He's sacrificing. Anything worth having requires sacrifice, time, energy, things of that nature. He's done that. He's done something different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when it gets to it, it's going to be mental toughness. It's not going to be some skill. It's not going to be skill. It's going to be mental toughness. I see this one going at least 23 minutes.
Ooh, there you go. I like it. I like it. And Steven Tatum says, cheer or just say hello to the bad guy. And UFC needs tag team matches. Actually, there was a promotion that ran in fucking Brazil. No, Russia. Why did I confuse Brazil with Russia? I fucking don't know. But Russia, where there's a tag team female match where they just beat the shit. Like, you know, one girl got caught and then the other fucking chick just swarmed on her ass. I was like, how the fuck is this going on? But that was the same fucking fight where a rather bigger lady fought a dude of skinnier proportions. And
right.
It was weird. It was weird. Fuck yeah, Russia with your weird shit. You know, they had one where everybody dressed up like superheroes and beat the shit out of each other. You know, like American Gladiator type fucking obstacle course. Fucking Russia gets wild, dude.
Have you seen the one in the phone booth? 2 dudes in the phone booth?
Yes, I've seen that. I've seen that. I've seen the fucking actually Christian, you know, of a Christian Cage or WWE's Christian, same guy. But he hosts a show where they fucking get down in the fucking Knights of the Round Table armor, you know, like that's
weird. Pretty cool too.
I mean, getting beheaded isn't, you know, I don't know. But you know, one thing I do know is, wait, did you? Okay, so you've got fucking.
I got Figueiredo. Knockout in the 4th.
I got Moreno and submission. It's gonna be a finish, but submission. Okay.
Knockout.
Okay, I like it.
He said, Figueiredo, you son of a bitch, I'm gonna knock you out.
I guess that's the I think that's the most accurate use of the foreign name pronunciation classes by Voodoo for one easy payment of $9.99.99 or four easy payments of $4.99. Yes, I know the holidays were tough, but look at no further than Davidson Figueiredo, former UFC flyweight champion, learning not the fucking shit that you would learn in Rosetta Stone, but definitely some shit you would learn in Rosetta Parks. You know, that chick that you get fucking collard greens from, and you might get that sticky icky. I'm just saying. Yeah, those are the motherfuckers that use the foreign name pronunciation classes by Voodoo. As well, you should too. I am not just a spokesperson, but I also am a member. The reason why I speak so eloquently or lack thereof is because the foreign name pronunciation classes by Voodoo. So come get you some. There you go. But you know what? We are at the main events of the evening. We have the Frenchman 10-0 in MMA competition, but also, I mean, every fucking combat sports initiative that this gentleman has competed and bore witness to, he has come away with the win. That guy is Bongamin Selgan, the UFC like interim fucking heavyweight champion. But he is in there with the Cameroonian born 16-3 Francis Ngannou, the Predator, right? Now, I'm going to go on a rant here, folks. Sorry, guys.
Let's go.
But this one, I want fucking Francis to win more than anything. Because guess what? Francis Ngannou is essentially the fucking monster that Dana White created, right? Right? He created the fucking monster, right? Filled his head up. Francis, move out to Vegas. We got you. You got the UFC Performance Institute. We'll hook you up with all the fucking best trainers and whatever. And he loses to fucking Stipe. They feed him to fucking Stipe, right? Knowing that he was probably going to get outclassed. That's what happened. He goes through this whole long fucking self-discovery. He doesn't know if he wants to fucking fight again, blah, 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 whatever the fuck, right? And he gets out of it. He gets out of it and strings together wins and then gets another fight with fucking Stipe Miocic. And what does he do? Exactly, right? So now, the fact that we're here, right? And UFC says that Francis Ngannou doesn't want his management team doesn't want to play ball, right? That's why they essentially wanted fucking Derek Lewis to take Francis Ngannou's head off, right? They wanted, Derek Lewis to be adorned with the UFC title, right? And when Francis couldn't do it, what do? They do a fucking, a fucking interim title fight, right? To hopefully get, this is Dana White's version of Hogan must pose. If you know wrestling lore, especially during the early days of WrestleMania or any pay-per-view, right? When Hogan was bigger than shit, right? You had the spot at the end of the show where Hogan must pose, right? So Dana White's Hogan must pose, right? To get in the good graces of Jesus Christ. What's the governor there? Greg Abbott, right? I believe, right? For letting him, no COVID restrictions, whatever, and get in the good graces there. He wanted to reward, and exalt fucking Derek Lewis as maybe an heir apparent or close. Nothing will be as good as Connor, right? But something to the ilk of maybe a Brock Lesnar or Connor, because Derek Lewis can fucking talk, where Brock wasn't able to, right? So they wanted a fucking deal in Houston where Derek Lewis came away with the title, right? So they book a fucking interim championship because supposedly fucking Francis's management group didn't want to play ball, right? But when you look at the circumstances, right? He was flying home for a procedure and all that shit, and the time allotted to have a full fight camp, right? It wasn't going to happen. He wasn't going to be peak Francis. He just wanted the fucking shit to be pushed back, to a later date, right? But fucking UFC got fucking, gun happy and shit like that and pulled the trigger, and here's what we have here, right? And I think this is the fight that I'm not gonna say, and this is no disrespect to Gon, right? But this is the fight that nobody wants to see, right? I mean, you filthy casuals, absolutely. But if you're like, oh, fucking UFC heavyweight, everybody's gonna be like, oh, where's the balls is out guy? Where's the Popeye's chicken guy? And neither one of them, right? But then you have one half, right, of this title fight, the lineal champion in this scenario is a guy that, you know, Joe Rogan says on his podcast is even scarier than fucking Tyson. And I believe Tyson has even said it himself, that Francis Ngannou is something completely fucking different, right? But here we go. Apparently, you know, Dana White and the rest of the UFC brass are making it out to be Francis Ngannou and his team as not being, you know, not playing well, right, with others. But what it is the fucking guy that that Francis Ngannou, the reigning UFC heavyweight champion, has in his management enclave, used to fucking work for the UFC. And Dana White is calling him like a fraud, doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He worked for you for damn near a decade. He couldn't be dog shit if you kept him on the fucking payroll. Now, whether Dana White knew this guy existed or whatever, I mean, does fucking Bill Gates know everybody that works at Microsoft? Does fucking Elon Musk, you know everybody that works at every fucking Tesla factory? No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that at all. But again, this is somebody who knows the UFC's practices, that saw the fucking antitrust lawsuit come and go, and maybe still ongoing. He knows the tricks of the trade. So it's not a Francis thing. He's an insider, right? And here we go. This is crazy because this is the last fight on Francis Ngannou's fucking contract, right? So he can come away and be in a situation where he's out in the open market as the reigning UFC champion. But guess what? That actually cannot happen, right? Because they have an automatic fucking rollover clause for a champion. They basically say you're bound by 3 fights or a year, a full calendar year, right? If you're champion. And the thing about it, the asterisk is on whichever one is longer. So let's say if Francis fucking beats Gon tomorrow night, right? And then has 2 fights in 2 weeks. And then a third fight the next month, right? He's still bound because it's a year, right? He can get 3 fights, right? And it's whatever's longer. So he can fucking you draw that thing out. So it lessens the credibility. And they'll have all in the interim, they'll have all the interim fucking titles, being defended and whatever the fuck, and strip Francis, whatever. At the same time, he's still under fucking contract. This is Rage Against the Machine, right? I want Francis to win so bad because he is somebody, again, that the UFC created, saw value in, but supposedly they don't anymore. Going to the guy who's managing him, right? He worked for fucking Dana White, knows all the fucking shit, worked for the UFC at their offices in Vegas. He knows the tricks and the trades and fucking beating them at the pass. And also, right, this is creative art. The Francis is managed by CAA, the Creative Artist Industry, right? Which is a big fucking talent agency, right? But guess who the UFC is owned by? WME Endeavor, another big fucking Hollywood talent agency. This is a battle of the juggernauts. This is not just about the fight, right? And this is not even getting into the fact that Gon and Ngannou train together, right? There's so many layers, so many fucking layers, right? And to me, and it might mean nothing come Sunday morning or late Saturday night where we're deep into libation and whatever. It might mean nothing, right? But for me, again, this is like you created me. This is Francis saying you created me. And you're not going to give me my just due? Fuck you, man. Fuck you. This is Francis Ngannou. This is his management team's Rage Against the Machine, and I would love to see it happen. This has nothing to do with Cyril Gahn, right? Do I find Cyril Gahn fucking cringy? Yeah, absolutely. Man, he's just not a likable cat. And I don't know if it's the French je ne sais quoi or whatever. There's something in me. Like I feel about Francis, like there's a tenderness about Francis, as it is, with Amanda Nunes, right? There's a tenderness. You don't even have to know who they are. You hear them talk or whatever. You just absolutely love them. They seem so genuine, so salt of the earth. I want Francis to win. I want Francis to win, like absolutely in stellar fashion. Now I'm going to. I don't think it's too secretive, right? But Clayton Jack or Cal Jack, the Grizzly Cal Jack, former NXT notable, whose dad actually has wins over Dan Severn, Don Fry, Randy Couture, right? Well, yeah, that dude's son is who Francis brought in to help him out with the training camp, with the wrestling and whatever. This is a guy who, at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, during the pandemic, Bloodsport, if you guys don't know what it is, check it out. It's a GCW production, right? But Cal Jack in a no rope ring, right? In a fucking warehouse, right? The only thing that you can do to win is either pin or submission. So not pin, KO's of submission. So for Cal Jack's KO, he fucking grill press slams a motherfucker and throws them against a fucking brick wall. I shit you not. And that's the guy that fucking Francis Ngannou brought in to help with his wrestling against Cyril Gahn.
Yep. Yeah, this is go ahead.
You're gonna see a version of Francis Ngannou that you've never seen before. You didn't think it was capable of. Again, his power. The salt mines and fuck it. All of this shit. But I think we're gonna see Francis grapple. And again with that power and stopping a takedown. I'm not at all convinced. I'm absolutely convinced that if he just does a fucking snap as Gahn tries to fucking take him down, and he just fucking snaps and thwarts a fucking takedown, we might see fucking Gahn's fucking legs implode because he's carrying both of their fucking weights. This is the best Francis Ngannou that you're gonna see, right? But again, just a little bit of angst, a little bit of anarchy. This is almost like fucking CM Punk walking out with the WWF title in Chicago after that match with Cena, and he was a free agent after the Pipeline promo. This is it, man. Fuck yeah, man. I'm riding with Francis.
Yeah. This fight has been the road to this fight has been one that really irked me. This coach, Ferdinand, whatever, very good coach. I mean, two of his guys have made it to the top, the very peak of the spear, tip of the spear, and now they're fighting each other. But Francis had one thing to say about this coach. He wants the spotlight. He wants to shine. And he's like, yo, if you want to shine, man, throw them gloves on, get up in them and earn it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Why you got to shine off of me? I get it. Same as Ali Abdulaziz. Shining off of the fighters.
Your homeboy.
I hate that. So, yeah, right? I can't stand that. Like, stay in your place, man. You're a coach. Stay in a coach's place. You know what I mean? Like, do you remember? I mean, the guy got more interviews than Cyril Gahn. You know what I mean? Francis is like, yo, man. First of all, I'm not getting the attention that I need to be where I need to be. You know? So you know what? I'm just gonna go where people can focus on me 100%. I'm not mad at him for doing that. I'm not mad at him for leaving France. Not at all. When TJ Dillashaw left Team Alpha Male, I was not mad at him. Because when you get in that cage, it's you versus someone who's trying to take you out. You got to do the best possible thing for you to survive in that cage. And if it means leaving MMA Factory or whatever it's called, so be it. Be happy for the dude, man. Be happy for him. This dude was hell-bound on bringing down his own countrymen. He was hell-bound on bringing down his own countrymen. Who does that? I mean, you helped build this house. Now, because the house is not going to belong to you anymore, you want to tear it down? Come on, man. Come on. What kind of coach does that? But then you have the Cyril Gahn fellow, who is an absolute beast, stallion of a man. I mean, the footwork we've never seen before in the heavyweight division. The lightness on his feet, the snapping of the kicks, snapping of the punches. An anomaly. An anomaly. We've never seen anything like this before. He's a yes man. And I have a problem with that. He just does what that coach says. I mean, you're a grown man now. I understand this is your leader. I get it. But he could have distanced himself from this nonsense, all this drama, you know? I mean, the coach is he's getting what he wants now. He's getting TV time, but at what cost? At what cost? You know, it's a sad situation. Sad situation. The focus should be on Cyril Gahn, not his coach. Cyril Gahn's the one that's gonna get in there and fight. Why is a coach in all the interviews? It's very strange to me. And this is the space that Francis Ngannou didn't want to be in. So he left. But the coach is so good, he was able to bring another champion up to this level. See, he's trying too hard. His skill as a coach should be what brings him to the table, not forcing his guys to push him to the spotlight, which is what he's doing. He's forcing these guys, because he's their coach, he's forcing them to push him to the cameras. And enough of Ferdinand, whatever his name is, Ferdinand whatever. Enough of him. Now let's focus on this match. Francis Ngannou, freak athlete, another anomaly. We've never seen power like this ever. Ever. In boxing, whatever. We've never seen power like this before. Man comes from the sand mines of Cameroon. He's a special human being. But then on the other side, we have Cyril Gahn. Dynamic striking at his finest. Dynamic striking from a heavyweight fighter that moves like a young lightweight. Very, very hard to put this together. The footwork, the dexterity, the IQ. The IQ. He's put it all together in such a little time. And it's showing, because now he's challenging for the title, and he is the interim champion. So now we must unify this title. One is fighting for the honor of this gym. The other is fighting for the future of all fighters. Francis Ngannou's battle this weekend is against the corporation. If he wins, he puts power in the hands of all you fighters, even Cyril Gahn. Cyril Gahn is a yes man. If the UFC says you're going to get 300,000, he'll be okay. He's that guy. He will not challenge the system like Francis is. He won't. He won't. It's in his nature. He's soft. He's very good, but he's soft here. Skill-wise, top of the line. Probably the best you've ever seen. But if Francis wins this fight, this is good for the future of fighting. And I'm also banking on Francis to win this fight, because when he does, he's going to grant everyone else an opportunity to challenge for a better contract. Yes, I signed this contract in the beginning, but look at my output. Look at my performance. I should be compensated now. Though I signed a contract that says I'm supposed to get, let's say, for example, 200, but my performance is worthy of 1 million. I shouldn't be getting 200. Francis is kicking down that door, breaking that glass ceiling. This is what he's facing come Saturday. Cyril Gane is not his match. Yes, Cyril Gane is a physical representation of the hill he has to climb. But if he ascends his hill and he gets to the very top, this is going to benefit all you fighters. All you fighters will benefit from this. You know? It's a tough match. It's a tough match for him. But I believe he will win. I believe his time is now, and he will make that connection necessary to shut down his opponent. Even though his opponent is the better striker, better mover, all advantages goes to his opponent with the exception of this. Francis Ngannou's life is the edge that he needs. To win, he's going to have to walk through fire like Calvin Kattar did last week. He's going to have to walk through fire, take a beating, but he will endure, because his tour of what's that country? Northern Africa, Morocco. His tour of Morocco was harder than anything he was going to see in the octagon. Harder than anything he's going to see in the octagon. Crossing the ocean. Harder than anything he's going to see in the octagon. He will survive, and he will do what he has to do to win this match. I also go for Francis Ngannou. Knockout. 3rd round.
Absolutely. And, you know, if I can Cyril Gane, you do the whatever, Bungami, whatever the fuck. You can say that all the way to the fucking locker room when your fucking, you know, gym bag is a little bit lighter because it's 2 fucking championships that the Predator fucking took from you, right? In the words of Dusty Rhodes, this is bigger than the UFC. This is bigger than just one fight, right? This can send, if done right, reverberations through the entire MMA landscape. And enact some real change. To quote the late great Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, right, which I believe both Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane are both, even though they come from Cameroon and France respectively. But these two are riding on the edge of a lightning boat, baby. And hopefully
that's right.
That'll be some extra greenbacks, some extra zeros on the on one side or the other of the decimal point when they come to signing the contract. Male, female, what have you. Right? This enacts positive change. And you know what? Again, this is a perfect scenario. Ngannou is a fucking UFC creation, right? And you have representing him somebody that worked in the inner sanctum of the UFC, and then backed by a rival fucking talent agency than the UFC's parent company. This, again, it's bigger than just one fight. And I hope we look back on this, not just the fight, but what, you know, it's when Ali, you know, enacted the Ali Act that essentially ended up having, you know, giving Conor illegal recourse to pursue the money fight with Floyd Mayweather, right? That's what kind of helped Brock in his situation with WWE, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I hope we look back at this and Francis Ngannou, in terms of enacting positive change, right, in the landscape of MMA, right, to almost the effect of, I'm not saying he'll be the next Ali. There can never be another Ali, right? That's it. But if we get somebody that, again, is enacting positive change and creating value in his fellow man and fellow fighter,
Mm-hmm.
shit me, man. He's in that
I'm all
conversation.
for it.
He's all in
I'm all
that
for it.
conversation, and we need that. We need disruptors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody got anything for playing it safe. What
Mm-hmm.
Francis is living in Vegas now, right? Well, he
Mm-hmm.
probably figured it out, right? Because he's betting all of his chips on himself, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty fucking wild position to be in. And then you have somebody who used to be your teammate who also knows all your moves theoretically,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is a perfect scenario. This is one of the biggest fights ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, yeah, I mean, the way that I feel about this, I've never felt this is licking emotions in me that I didn't you might have seen in a well curated storyline in the WWE or New
Mm-hmm.
Japan or a fucking Oscar winning movie, right? I've never really felt it. I know, oh, this dude's gonna kick this person's ass or this gal is whatever, Ronda, whatever. This feels fucking different, and I
Mm-hmm.
like it. I like it, and I hope. What is the adage? You like it, you love it, you want some more of it. So
Mm-hmm.
I hope we
Mm-hmm.
get. I hope that everyone on this card or whatever, um, the fighters, in every promotion, look at this and do it. And you know what? I'd like to fucking see Francis take a lion's share of his purse and fucking buy some Endeavor stock, and then buy some
Mm-hmm.
fucking Viacom stock with Bellator's parent company, and
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
they have to listen to him then because he's a shareholder. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so
Mm-hmm.
fucking crazy times, man. But I can't wait to fucking be here Sunday afternoon,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And fucking divulge all of the happenings, all the sights and sound of UFC 270 and what ended up coming. But before we
Mm-hmm.
go, Voodoo, where can they find you on social media?
Definitely on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook page, Twitter, and Snapchat. Find me, like, share, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? I'll add you back, and we can get it going.
Absolutely. And I'm according to Woods pretty much everywhere. I think it's Adam K. Woods on Twitter, but if you put according to Woods, I'll come up. The Space for Radio, it'll definitely be there. Thank you for everyone who joined us here in the chat and everything. Yes, Mick Mac says we need tag team matches, and Stephanie Black says I'm out, as are we.
OJ.
Yes, as are we. So we will be back on Sunday at some point to divulge a more UFC 270 news here on Voodoo in the Woods.